Okay, here's some additional finding the inverse practice. Some of these are a little bit of a challenge, but so I have 3 here. If you want to, I don't know what just happened. We have 3 here. So if you want to write this down and then try it, and then come back and watch the answer, then that's probably the best way to do it. First, we're going to replace our f of x with y. So we have y equals 7x divided by 2x plus 1. We're going to replace our x and our y. So we have x equals 7y divided by 2y plus 1. So we're going to solve for y. So I'm going to multiply by 2y plus 1 on both sides, 2y plus 1. So distribute your x just like we did in the review. I have a 2xy plus x equals 7y. Now my next thing is I want to get my y's together because ultimately I want 1y, right? I don't need 2 y's, I need 1 y. So I'm going to subtract this 2xy over here, and I'm going to start my work up here. So I have an x equals 7y minus 2xy. I notice they both have a y, so I'm going to factor out that y. 7 minus 2x equals x. And now we're going to get rid of this binomial here by dividing the whole thing. Very similar to the one that we did on the review. X divided by 7 minus 2x equals y. Replace it with the inverse function of f, and then it's equals x divided by 7 minus 2x. So after I finish all 3 of them, then we'll verify on the graph together. All right, here's another one. F of x equals x plus 4 divided by x minus 2. So we're going to replace it with y, x plus 4 divided by x minus 2. Then switch out our x's and our y's, y plus 4 divided by y minus 2. Same thing, I'm going to get rid of my denominator, y minus 2 here. So I'm distributing my x here, x, y minus 2x equals y plus 4, right? So my next thing is I want to put my y's together. I'm going to subtract that xy. So we have, write it up here, negative 2x equals y plus 4 minus xy. So I have an additional thing in the way, right? That positive 4 is kind of getting in my way. So I'm going to subtract the 4 out here. You can do that. Use your algebra skills. Negative 2x minus 4 equals y minus xy. You can manipulate these as long as you stick with the rules of algebra, which you have here. We find that we both have a y here, so I'm going to factor out that y. So it's a 1 minus x, be careful there, equals negative 2x minus 4. Divide out that 1 minus x. And now we have the inverse function of x equals negative 2x minus 4 divided by 1 minus x. Okay, there's our answer for the last one. Here's our answer for this one. And we'll check the graph at the end. All right, here's our last one. F of x equals negative 1 over x minus 1. Replace with y equals negative 1 over x minus 1. Switch your x and your y. X equals negative 1 over y minus 1. And now solve for y. I'm going to get rid of this 1 first by adding. So I have x plus 1 equals negative 1 over y. I got to get rid of the denominator first. I'm going to multiply by y on both sides. Let's keep it like this here. Equals negative 1, and it kind of looks like one of our last steps on the other problem. See here, kind of looks like that. So we're going to use that to our advantage. I'm not distributing at our y because then that would give me more than 1 y, and that's the opposite of what I want, right? All I want to do is solve. So I want to get this on the other side by dividing. So we have y equals negative 1 divided by x plus 1, and that's your inverse. I'm going to write it in my inverse function form. So we're going to say the inverse function of x equals negative 1 divided by x plus 1. And that's your answer. All right, so I'm going to put these on our Desmos and just make sure that we have them right. Okay, here's all of our functions. You can kind of see it's a beautiful conglomeration. I put our reflection line here, y equals x, so you can see. Here's our first two, that's 7x divided by 2x plus 1, and then x divided by 7 minus 2x. So you can see that they are reflected. Very nice picture there. All right, let's look at our number 2. This was number 2. That was our original function. Here's our inverse function, very close, right? You can see that our numbers, so if this is 0, -2 is -2, 0, our option here for, scrolling here. Yep, -2, 0 is our reflection point. There we go. So we can verify that way, our x and our y's. All right, let's look at our number 3. There's our original function, that purple one. There's our reflection function. So you can see that they are inverses of one another. Okay, so hopefully that kind of gives you some help on how to do those. Here's the other one, these points. This was the transformation story. So I'm just going to work through a couple of these. I know like this one, we'll work through this one and then this one. That'll give you a little bit of an idea. So from 2, 3, it's a stretch, so it affects your y value. So we're going to multiply 2 and then 3 times 2 because it's a stretch of 2. So our new point is 2, 6. Here it affects our y value. So it's going to be that 3 plus 1 because we moved up, so it affects our range, right? So our new value is 2, 4. And down here, this f of x minus 1, this affects our x value. And think if it's subtracting 1, we're actually moving to the right one. So we're adding 1, so it's going to be 3, 3. All right, so the answers for these are on the review that I sent out, the review questions from last test, but I'll send them out here as well. All right, see you soon.